Here we are on a car ride video. Let's get into it. And for this, I'm going to talk about how I was single and happy before it was a cool thing today that's talked about on YouTube or other social media platforms. Or I should have just said, YouTube and the rest are social media. If you're, the kinds that don't really count YouTube as social media, I'm right there with you. If you disagree, that's fine too. I just feel that YouTube is its own thing, but to each their own, right? Anywho, yeah, the whole MGTOW thing. I was on that MGTOW mentality before it was cool. Before it was a thing. Before a lot of other men, were saying it on YouTube. And hear me out. Since a little kid, I enjoyed my own company. I had my brother, I had my sister. We would play, but then there are times that I would love to just, be by myself and run around and climb trees by myself. And, as years go by, as a teenager, and then as a young adult, I loved my own company. And, in high school, I would just, I was that weird kid that would sit alone in the cafeteria table, but I was okay with it. Although I used to walk outside and sit on the bleachers, or just basically I would walk home. I would not finish the whole rest of the school day, which, young kids, I don't recommend you guys doing that. Stay in school. But anywho, yeah, at 18, I had my first girlfriend, and it felt nice. It felt nice and exciting. I had the butterflies in my stomach, and all that cute stuff. It didn't last too long, because then I started, feeling stressed out. I was just, very, very invested in this stupid girl, and it all backfired me, So then, I became sad, especially after the breakup, sad and depressed, losing weight when I'm not supposed to be losing any more weight than I should, but I did, and I was inactive. I wasn't, the people that know me, that they were telling me, what's the matter with you? You're losing weight. You're not dancing and prancing like you usually do. Because I was, just some funny, happy kid. I still am at heart, but, you just run around the house, blasting some music. People knew me that I would just always, bust a move just out of, joy. Silliness. I wasn't active in any of my sports that I loved doing. Anything. And so that's why, that's why I said, yeah, this whole girlfriend thing, I can't do it. It's not for me. At a young age. And then, a couple more years went by, and I was just hitting my 20s, and like I said, I was not happy. But then after that, after, I want to say like 2 years later, I was back to my own self, but this time in my 20s, my young 20s. I was having fun. I was active. I was doing stuff. I had a purpose. And that's when I realized, yeah, I was a lot more happier when I was single than when I was with someone. And just to think that I could do all that again now with the dating dynamics of today with the social medias, because at that time, the only social media that was out there was, MySpace was fading away, thankfully. If it weren't for that, I never would have met this stupid girl. But it was Facebook, but we didn't have it on our phones. Mind you, I was the only one with the phone, a little smartphone, and she didn't have nothing. But yeah, as I was still, getting back on my feet and being happy and active and doing stuff as a young man, there was, all these other people, young and old, that would tell me that I was weird and crazy and strange, for not wanting what everyone else wants, what they were doing. You don't have a serious relationship like your friend over here, like your family member over here, like them over there, making kids, moving in already in an apartment. That was not like them, huh? I'm not like them, so I'm weird, because here I am still, just living my life. I'm happy. I'm not going through what they're going through day in and day out. Because when I was closer to some of these guys with these serious relationships, it wasn't too pretty, the things that they would tell me on the inside. It was just what you saw on social media, the pictures, all them smiling together, going here, going there, but they just they don't really show you the bad side of that aspect of being in a relationship and moving in so too young, early 20s, even mid 20s in my opinion. It's just too young to be living with a broad, man. But anywho, I always said, yeah, I'm glad that I don't have that, because right now, with all these things I want to do in sports and traveling, I can't have that. That's going to be really bad. And they all said, no, well, we all have to go through that. That's BS. No, I didn't. I didn't have to go through any of that. They just wanted me to, be like them. And, yeah, today I'm still here. It's a new year, 2026. I plan on traveling somewhere after, 6 years. It's been since 2019. And this time I'm going solo, and I'm excited about that. Because last time, I went with an old friend. Don't know about his whereabouts. I wish him well. But it was a disaster, especially towards the end. I can make a video about that some other time, But, yeah. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to, kickstart something new. Get back to something that I loved doing, that I know I'm still good at. And, if you're like me, you're still single, and you plan on staying that way on another year, a brand new year, go ahead. You're doing great. You're doing great. I applaud you, especially if you're coming off of a relationship, situationship with a girl. Good on you. it's such a blessing, you know, to know that, you know, guys like us, we bounce back, and you know, we get back on our feet. We have our own place now. We make our own money now. We come to peace and quiet. Man, it's everything. And the freedom that we have. Sorry. You know, the freedom that we have. You know, it's just, it's everything. So, keep doing you. And just ignore the hate and the critics. From people you may know or people that you don't know and that they don't know you. So, yeah. I'm gonna end this video now. I'm here about to put some air on both of my rear tires. They've been low for a while, so you know, I gotta stay on top of things. But all right, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Hit a like, leave a comment. Appreciate you all.